this isn't about their financials and how they grew the company and how they diversified and what they sold each product line for. It's about the theme.
The journey.
It's about the journey and the theme. Instant traction. Did they come up with an idea, raise a ton of money, and off to the races?
No.
They didn't.
Never
They had a
happened.
bunch of failures. They powered through it. They listened.
Did they have grit?
No, they didn't have grit. They had strategy. Welcome to another episode of No Followers Podcast. Today we got a fun one. We are going to do an installment of
T's favorite.
Dramatic Pause,
Instant traction.
Myth.
Myth. I forgot this third word.
Yeah, because instant traction is not a real thing for products. It usually takes a lot of failure, back-end work, trial and error to eventually get to what we consider today as a instant traction, successful product. Someone that says, I have such a great idea, it can't fail. So I got one prepped here. I just want to start up here so that people see height situation, because now
you want to stand up?
I'm going to be hunched over for the rest of the episode. I don't need the criticism, Bob.
I'm not even paying attention.
All right. So in case you don't know, I'm going to tell the story of an instant traction product that Bob will probably figure out pretty quickly on this one.
I got it.
Ready?
No.
Great. Can you see my screen? No cheating.
No, I can't.
All right. This is a fun one. All right. It was invented by Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavanis. He's a Swiss chemist.
Get the name right.
I didn't
If I don't have the right pronunciation, I cannot figure this out.
If you don't know it from Swiss chemists, you're never going to get it. All right. This is the one that's going to give it away.
Okay.
This product was invented when they were trying to create a textured wallpaper in 1957 for the Beat generation. It was supposed to be a new fangled textured wallpaper. How'd they do it? You want to ask? Go ahead.
Do you want me to ask you? How'd they do it,
I'll
T?
tell you, Bob. Thanks so much for asking. What they did
put
was
air in plastic.
Yeah. It's okay. All right. There's
Two
no
for
need.
two.
No need to show off.
I'm like
Okay.
Aaron Judge.
You are right. So you know what it is. So they took two shower curtains.
I didn't know that.
And that was the plastic. And then they put it through a heat sealing machine and they wound up with trapped air bubbles. And this is what would eventually become bubble wrap.
Not on your walls, though.
Not on your walls. That's right, Bob.
So we're at 1957 still?
1957. Okay. Yep. That's when they figured it out by accident. While trying to figure out a different product, they came upon this product.
So they weren't trying to trap air between two curtains?
No, they were trying to make a textured wallpaper. And so they were taking two pieces of plastic and running it through a heat sealer. And the problem that happened was they kept trapping air. They just wanted to be able to have it wrinkle together, from my understanding. And so instead, they kept getting trapped air pockets, and then eventually it would become bubble wrap.
Did he need to be a chemist to do that? Just asking.
This is a question that's beyond my pay
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to ask him when I see him.
The first patents for the process. So this is interesting because we talk a lot about IP and whether or not you need it. When you get into IP, you start to learn that you can patent a process. So the first patents that they filed were for the process and equipment for embossing and laminating materials. And then in 1964, they patented the method for making laminated cushioning material. So in trying to create textured wallpaper, they failed horribly, miserably.
You mean nobody bought it?
No. And wound up trapping air between the sheets, as we said.
Still not an instant traction.
No. So we started off in 1957. Patents up to 1964 is where we're at.
Now that's trapped air.
What'd you say?
Now they're at the trapped air
Now they're at
cushioning
trapped air,
material.
yeah. But they actually came up with 400 uses, including textured wallpaper and greenhouse insulation. So they figured, we're able to trap air. We can create a greenhouse effect with this. They tested it in greenhouses, but it was
Not very good.
ineffective. Yeah. So they founded Sealed Air Corp in 1960. I'm going to try to churn
Wait
through
a
this.
minute. You went to 64 and now you're back to 60.
Yeah, I kind of bounce all over the place, but just to give you, that's when they. But
I'm
this
the
is
voice of the audience. I
Yeah.
can't follow this story.
well. The only reason I added that note was because we frequently say, "Do you have an idea or do you have a business?" Right? You don't necessarily always need a business, but depending on your go-to-market and commercialization strategy, you may.
I want to know how they came up with 400 uses for this.
You can ask when you see them.
Okay.
So again,
It's a lot of wasted thinking.
1957, trying to create textured wallpaper, founded Sealed Air Corp, 1960. Right? So you have a little bit of a gap there between we had an idea and we have a company. See?
And in 64, they patented it.
Well, they started patenting before that, but
Okay.
they got the patent for making laminated
Please DM me
cushioning
and
material. in
tell me that I got to
1964.
teach T how to tell the story. Because
I didn't say this was going to be in chronological order.
I'm
just
glad,
said
I'm
it was.
just glad I got it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're at 1964 right
All
now.
right, Mr. Know-it-all, Mr. I got all the answers.
I just said I was 2 for 2.
Okay, so what? So now they have this thing. They got this bubble wrap. Oh, I have a great idea.
Nobody
Bubble
was
wrap.
buying it yet.
What turned the tide? What made people suddenly go, hey, that would be great for shipping and
wanna
logistics?
You want to give me a
I'll give you
year?
options. How about I don't need a year.
No, I want a year. I don't need the options.
I don't have a year. I didn't write down the year. Let's say late 60s, early 70s. Mid 60s? Mid 60s. Okay, is it the airline industry?
No.
Is it tire technology in cars progressing?
No. Are you going to tell me when I'm right?
Is it IBM computers? Specifically. All right, so IBM computers started to take off, and all of a sudden they needed a way to package and ship their delicate electronic components.
But in the 60s, weren't they the size of a room?
Bob, this isn't about IBM.
Okay, sorry.
But they still needed to package and ship computer
Okay,
components.
just
That's
asking.
the moral of the story.
Okay.
Sensitive electronic components had to be packaged and shipped.
Gotcha.
Currently, how did they package and ship things before, Bob?
Put it in boxes and cargo.
With what? How did they?
Wood.
Wood. What else? What else you got? Give me some more. Give me rapid fire.
Blankets.
Word association. Blankets. Wood. What else? What about newspaper? You want to crumple up some newspaper? Throw it in there?
Hold on a minute. You're going to crumple up newspaper on a computer?
Bob, that's exactly the problem. It's like
Okay.
you walked right into my trap. So now they have this new air cushioning technology, okay? Able to ship and able to package and ship computers without damage, all right?
Beautiful.
The previous methodology, balled up newspaper, made a mess, bunch of problems. Started catching on. Still, no profit.
Why not?
But there are externalities that had to exist in order for their product idea to find its home. Without the need for sensitive electronic components to be shipped, you did not have this need to move beyond balled up newspaper, right? So taking a real look at the landscape and the market in which you exist and finding the place where you fit, it's not instant traction. It's the right resources at the right time.
It's also trial and error, right? We make a lot of
100%.
assumptions and,
Yeah, but they waited for the market to tell them where they were needed.
So I'd like to know how they sustained their company until the market opened up, because most people
That
can't.
is a great question, and we can do a follow-up episode on that, but that's not the point of
How
this
superficial
story.
is this research?
It's not superficial. It's talking to what are the things, because it's not about how did they sustain their company through their pitfalls. It's about did they have instant traction or not.
Okay.
That's the reason for the story.
But the audience wants to know how they sustained.
That's a separate episode. This episode was bubble wrap an instant traction product? Up.
I just got to say that
Answer the question.
this visual is going to be not in focus because the camera person is crying because he wants to know how they sustained a...
Great. He can DM you. All right. So in 1971, CEO TJ Dermot Dunphy took over and they built sales from $5 million to eventually in the 2000s, they grew to a $3
Right, you
billion
jumped
company.
like 30 years.
Yeah. The point is that they grew over time. They didn't show up and go, we're a $3 billion company, right?
Give me some money.
Grew over time, yeah. So when you talk to the CEO, former CEO, and he talks about why he took over and built it.
Did you talk to him in your research?
Yep, I talked to him. I called him up. I said, TJ Dermot Dunphy, what's cracking?
I would like somebody to check if he's even alive still.
I did not do that research.
Yeah.
But the
I hope he is.
The thing that I hope he is too. I hope he's doing great. I'm sure he is. The thing that he brought up, which is something that I think a lot of founders and inventors can identify with, is that he always maintained that while both the founders, Alfred Fielding and Mark Chivani, that while they were both brilliant, neither one of them really wanted to run the company. They wanted to work on their inventions. And this is something we see frequently, right? Which is iterate on design without actually getting market feedback. You get stuck in the product cycle of this invention's my baby.
Building the perfect.
Right. And the perfect is the enemy of the good. So this is I love this story because it has so many threads that we hit on all the time.
I just wish you had done better research, but okay. It is a great story, T.
Well, don't you want to know what else
more
CEO,
to come?
Yeah, Dunphy did to
I would
grow
love
the
to.
company? Oh, how'd they get profitable? How'd they grow the company, T? I want to know. Everyone's crying. Here's what they did. And this is a risky maneuver, but he diversified the product base, and that stabilized their operation.
Into what?
He went into bubble wrap pool covers to retain heat.
Solar covers.
Yep. So once again, although greenhouse didn't work. Similar idea, little pivot, solar covers for pools, very successful, sold that product line. Original bubble wrap received 6 patents in total.
We should get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
I want to talk to him.
You can get on that. I'm more of a research guy.
You're not a research guy. You're
this is good research.
Superficial Googler.
Since you wanted to know, as of 2017, which was the last time I could find figures without going into 10Ks and whatnots, sales totaled $4.5 billion, 15,000 employees, sells in 122
They should
countries.
be a sponsor.
I would love to have them as a sponsor.
And then my chair could have some bubble wrap cushion.
That's right. But yeah, so that is the non-instant traction story of bubble wrap, that it is a product everyone knows. It is a product everyone uses. It is a product people would stay.
You're being a little loose there.
A lot of.
You want to give us a hint to the third one?
You're really dialing in on the. You're really diving right into the. It's like when you take the SATs and they say you always avoid. You know, never, always, whatever. Which one of these statements is not true? Okay. Anyways, so that's their story.
Can you give us a teaser for the third one? Because I can't wait to be right again.
Bob, it's going to blow your mind.
It means you haven't done any research.
As soon as I figure out what it's going to be. But no, again, this isn't about their financials and how they grew the company and how they diversified and what they sold each product line for. It's about the theme.
The journey.
It's about the journey and the theme. Instant traction. Did they come up with an idea, raise a ton of money, and off to the races? No. They didn't.
Never
They had a
happened.
bunch of failures. They powered through it. They listened.
Did they have grit?
No, they didn't have grit. They had strategy. Okay. They listened to the market.
Did they big time anybody?
I'm going to big time you.
I'm just trying to get you all ramped up for the next one.
I'm there.
This is really good.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with this one.
I can't stand I can't stand
I thought it was a good one. It was a great story for the audience. I got it right, so I'm pretty happy.
Well, Bob, if I went into the nitty gritty of how they did
everybody.
we'd be here for 3 hours. We'll do another topic on IP strategy and why Bob is wrong about most things. But until next time, I'm T. This is Bob. We'll see you later.
Please follow First Strike Incubator online, subscribe to our channels. We'll see you next time.